Get to Know Me podcast is sponsored by Big Love LLC, an online clothing apparel shop for men, women, children, and no label. Feel free to visit our website today at bigluv.bigcartel.com. That's biglove.bigcartel.com.
No one be on your shitty ass social media or your fucking random ass no bar ass podcast. I don't give a fuck about that nor you.
No joke right there. I'm so serious. Why so serious? Little joke. Just let her know when you want to be serious. Cause when you want to be serious, I'm gonna play around, and when you want to play around, I'm gonna be serious. And if we want to play around and be serious at the same time, I'm just gonna walk off and be serious and playing around while I'm being serious. Because I'm just playing around. Cause I'm never serious.
Why, you been feeling good?
No, I ain't been feeling it bad. But I thank God for being as well as you.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Bizzy Balboa. Welcome to the Get to Know Me podcast. Roll it up, twist it up, and light it, because it's about to go down. Welcome to the Get to Know Me podcast. This is Bizzy Balboa. Go ahead and roll it, twist it, light it, get your coffee or your tea, meditate, pray, stage the building, because you never know what may be said over the airways of the Get to Know Me podcast. Today, I have a very special guest. I have a very close friend of mine, somebody I've worked with musically on this previous journey with my latest EP, and we've done other things in the past as well. You've heard a lot of production from this person. They are also known as a rap artist too, so they have all type of talents and things that we will get to discuss during this interview here. But we're mostly going to be discussing the music production. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, please welcome Doc Marzy.
Thank you. I'm blessed to be here. Glad you're back too with the podcast, and truly.
Yeah, I had to do that, man. I was trying to get some exposure for my upcoming, EP previous, and it was hard to find anybody that was doing anything for the independent artists. So I was like, the only person I could think of was me.
Nah, facts,
So I
facts.
was
That's
like,
how it
let's do
is.
it. Yeah. So here we are, and I'm happy to be here. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for joining me. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling blessed. It's been a lot of performing. I'm
Yeah.
blessed. I'm just happy.
Yeah, and being able to be a multifaceted artist is a gift and a curse, because sometimes you find yourself in places where in abundant opportunities are amongst you, and then sometimes you find yourself overwhelmed, and it's hard to find that balance.
Yeah, I
But
feel that.
I really have been enjoying you flourish into your different categories here that you've been wanting to get into, and especially the music production. And I know that you're an incredible rap artist, like one of the most incredible that I've heard lyrically. Like there's nobody there's nobody really seeing you. And you put out great work. You also engineer your own stuff. You do a lot of stuff, and now you're doing the music production. I would say, out of all of those, what do you enjoy the most?
Ooh, that's a good question. Oh my goodness. What
And
do
let's
I
not
enjoy
let's
the
not forget
most?
that you also podcast as well. Well, you were
Ah.
podcasting. So, I don't know if you're still doing it, but I know at one point you were. So, out of everything that you do, what would you say is the thing that really gets you going?
Oh my goodness. That is such a tough question because my creativity goes in phases. One time I may be focused on, like you said, the podcasting, and
Mm.
I'm like, this is the thing. Whatever I'm doing, I'm fully focused on that at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say which I like the most. I would say right now in this moment in time, it's the beat making,
Mm-hmm.
because that's like where my energy is flourishing best right now. So I would say
Yeah.
that, but I can't give a definitive answer on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand exactly what you mean, because even like we just mentioned with the podcast coming back, it's something that I love to do, but there's moments where my interest is somewhere else, and then
Right,
the
right.
podcast kind of gets left behind. And that's how it is. That's how
Nah,
it is
for
being a
real.
multifaceted artist. Now, this isn't your first time on the podcast. You've been on the podcast before. And we've gone through a lot of your background and your history, which I will say, if y'all want to hear a lot more about that, definitely check out that interview, because tells the story a lot more, where you can really get to know the background and really get to know Doc Marzy, but more so you'll be getting to know the Barry Mars side of him in those previous interviews. So this one is going to be kind of more of the Doc Marzy side. So it's funny because I always tell people there's a difference between, Bizzy Balboa and who I am as a person. And so
Right, right.
it's very interesting because you have these two different names, and I love that because on one side you get to be this artist, and then on
Yeah.
this other side you get to be the music producer. It's dope that these personalities have two different names. I'm like, that is so genius.
Thank you. Thank you
Was that
so
on
much.
purpose, or was that just something that happened?
That was on purpose. I
Mhm.
picked I picked my rap name and my production name on the same day in 2013.
Wow.
So
I
that
never
was 11 years ago.
Wow, I never knew that. I thought maybe one of the names were a little newer than the other one, but I didn't know that you selected them at the same time. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yep,
It's like
same day.
it was written.
Hey, you could say that. God is good, you know?
Now I did read that, and God is good all the time. I did read that you watched a documentary, and that kind of got you to where you were like, okay, I think I want to start doing some music production. And I
Yeah.
know, me personally, I watch a lot of your TikTok, so I know that Jay Dilla is like one of your most favorite producers. But can you tell us, like, how did that begin? How did the music journey begin, as
Ooh,
far as
how
the producing side?
okay, so that's a good question. This is my first time ever really talking about it on camera. So, my dad is a smooth jazz guitarist.
Mhm.
So, I've always heard music around the house. My mom being a former singer and a good music enthusiast in general. Like, my inception was hearing good music. So, my dad, he had Pro Tools on his computer. He would like record through Pro Tools. So I made my first beats in 2006. Like I had a MySpace page
Mhm.
and I had beats on there. This was like way before I ever took rapping seriously.
Wow. Uh-huh.
So I started with production.
Okay.
Then I'd say 2009, I was using virtual DJ, just mixing two samples together. There was an effect in that program where you could chop the samples.
Mhm.
So I was doing that. Then, excuse me, 2013, that's when I started doing like beat tapes. So
Incredible.
that, yeah. And then 2023, that's when I saw The Legacy of Jay Dilla, the documentary.
Mhm.
Changed my life. Rest in peace to Jay Dilla, for real.
Rest
I
in
got, and I don't have that vinyl, but I just bought The Shining by Jay Dilla at a
Uh-huh.
crate convention. I was, oh my
Oh, that's
goodness.
dope. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Thank
Legendary.
you.
Yeah,
For
that's
real.
definitely something to hold on to right there, man. That's crazy. I love to hear the journey and how people, got started into, the thing that really drives them and moves them. And, hearing that, you grew up with a father that was already, into the music industry, like, just seeing and experiencing that probably fills your heart a lot. And, you probably have crazy memories from that. Like, did you ever think that you would actually be where you are today? Or was it something that you just couldn't fathom?
Ooh, that's a good question. As a kid, I always thought making music was cool.
Hmm.
Like as a 12-year-old, I envisioned like, you know what, I feel like this would be pretty cool to do. But you know, I never really envisioned myself doing it until I just got into it.
Yeah.
So, that would be my answer.
Yeah, I like that. So
Thank you, thank you.
currently, there's been a lot of different things going on in the music industry. We've had beefs, we've had all type of things
Yeah.
going on. So, I think for the first time in history, we ever had a distrumental where someone gets through a beat.
Yeah. Oh my
Do you
goodness.
think that's gonna become a thing? Like, instrumentals? Like, this sounds interesting, man. I'm up for it. Do you see yourself like really doing that? Like, what are we on
Me,
right now? Is this something going on in the producer, network? Tell us about the secrets.
instrumental. I could say me personally, like I'm not doing a instrumental. That's not my style. Shout out to Metro Boomin, man. I
Shout out to
mean,
Metro Boomin and the
yeah.
comedian that made the actual BBL Drizzy through the AI. That intrigued me. Now got me playing with AI, but yeah, it's crazy out here. I love to see the way the industry is forming. I really miss like the mixtape days. Like, did you
Oh
ever
yeah.
have like a favorite mixtape? Anything? We had DJs, we had different people teaming up together. Were there any of your favorite mixtapes in those areas? In that time.
Yeah, Currency, Smokey Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Love that tape. That tape was fire.
Mm-hmm.
Living life fast in between them racing stripes. Oh my goodness, the beat. Shout out to Brandon Deshay for that beat. That beat was crazy.
Yeah.
Um, Dom Kennedy, 25th hour.
Mm-hmm.
Dom Kennedy, Future. What was it? Future something drug sound, something like that. But yeah, Dom Kennedy. There's so many I can name for real.
Yeah, man, great times. The old school Lil Wayne dedications and all of that. Like, I've missed the
Yeah.
mixtape era. I wish that era would come back.
Nah, likewise, likewise.
So whenever right now, I know that the music side of it, producing, it's not new to you, but kind of working with artists is kind of new to you. So like when it comes to approaching artists and working with artists, how do you do that? Like what's your approach with working with artists for the first time?
So right now I've been doing everything in person,
Mm-hmm.
like outside of the internet. I would say if it's like an artist on the internet, if I see an artist that I really rock with as far as their sound, I'll just reach out to them like, hey, I really like your sound. Would you like to work?
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of just go from there and build.
Yeah, it's it's not often where people reach out to the producers. People don't know that a lot of times the producers are the ones reaching out to the
Hmm.
artists. And I think that also there's a lot that producers do that people have no clue. They don't take into account. Like there's times where the producers have to help artists find their sound. A lot of artists don't know
Yeah.
their sound. They'll want a beat or they'll request something from you and the producer a lot of times is critiquing and all type of things to help them get a hit record or something that sounds really nice. So um, it's just interesting, like with the creative process behind the producers. Like, what are some of the most important qualities you look for in artists when you collaborate with them?
Ooh, that's a good question. Wow, that's a really good question. What are some of the qualities I look for? Just personability to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's a lot of different personalities when it comes to the artist community. You've got amazing artists like you, just really down
Thank
to
you.
earth. You've got your artists that are a little overly confident, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like for me, just be a decent person, you know what I mean?
Right.
That makes my job a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
And just talent,
Yeah.
God-given talent. That's basically it for me. I keep it simple.
Yeah. Don't take much, huh? You ready to work?
Nah, always, always.
Now there may be some people that you never know that are looking at you and looking up to you and aspiring to be somewhere similar to you, like wanting to do some of the things that they see you doing. What are some of the most important tools and technologies for producers today? Like, what are some of the things that you have to get started into the music production world?
So you have to have a digital audio workstation or a DAW, as we call it.
Hmm.
Either that or you'd have to have a sampler of some sort, SP404SX, um, MPC, that's one of the most popular samplers.
Yeah.
Something like that. You got to have one of the two to
Hmm.
make beats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good advice right there. Hey, we give free game right here. Like this is coming from someone that definitely knows their you know, hardware, software. Like this guy is a genius with that type of stuff, man.
Thank you, thank you.
It's always me texting you like, hey, what is this a good microphone? Like, different things. Like you always give great advice when it comes to that. So I always
Thank you.
appreciate that. And then speaking of advice, do you have any advice for somebody that is aspiring to be like a music producer or anything like that?
Definitely, definitely. So I would say first and foremost, know know what you want to do when it comes to producing. There's so many lanes to take. You could, be a type beat producer where you're primarily on YouTube just doing that. You could
Mm-hmm.
be a content creator. You could just be someone who makes projects for people to listen to. You could be someone who solely works with artists.
Yeah, yeah.
I would say first know what you want to do. And second, this is the most important thing, especially if you're going to work with artists.
Uh-huh.
You have to study the artists you're working with. You
Yeah.
have to study them, you have to know certain things like, okay, like you, for example, the kinds of beats that you rap on, it's like, okay, I already know what kind of snare to use for biz. I know
Yeah.
what kind of kick to use. I know the kind of you have like a bounce to your
Uh-huh.
music.
Yeah.
So it's like listening to your music, it's like I already know what to send you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important when it comes to production, you have to know what to send the artist.
Right. I
It's not
love.
about, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I love that because that's a like very very big highlight right there. You need to know the artist.
Definitely, I think a lot of producers get caught up in, oh, I'm going to send the artist this.
Mm-hmm.
So, and hope that they like it. No, you don't do that. You
Mm-hmm.
send the artist what they like
Mm-hmm.
and you put your own flavor on it.
Yeah, yeah. That's true. And that's something that I said in the interview that I previously did with 7 October. Shout out to her. But I was just saying, like, the reason why my previous project, my most recent project, came out so good, in my opinion, is because you guys catered to the vibes I was feeling and what I was going through at the moment. I was feeling a certain way. And, I can remember certain times where we had conversations about the certain type of beats that I wanted to have, and I was like, I
Right,
need, melodic, I need this, that, and the other. So a lot of times I was able to flow with the beat like super on point because it matched exactly how I was feeling and what I needed from you. So those are very important highlights that you mentioned, like just knowing the artist and knowing who you're working with, and
right,
sending something that artist would like, and something that is like perfect for that artist, not hoping that they will be able to kill it. Like, hey, you ain't used
right.
that beat yet. Like, it's not my style.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
And like speaking of which, like it's always a lot of chatter about music artists expecting to get certain things for free from music producers, or not wanting to pay to get certain things from the producer. Like, is that an obstacle that you faced anytime, or do you have pretty good experiences with artists?
It's definitely an obstacle I used to face.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, if you got your people that, like your day ones in this music thing that you're like, all right, I'll work with you for free.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Others, like, I feel like you have to charge some people,
Yeah.
especially if you want to make a living off of it. Some
Mm-hmm.
people you just have to charge.
Right.
It's a part of the game, you can't live off of crumbs. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's true.
So
That's true.
so you got to charge some people. It's all about being assertive with that. One thing I like to do is, artists will be like, how much do you charge? And I'll just say, I work with budgets. What's your budget?
Mm-hmm.
Because that'll ensure you get paid.
Right.
Um, and then you never know. Someone might shoot high
Mm-hmm.
and you could find a comfortable medium within their budget. So that would be my advice. Like,
That's great
ask for,
advice.
thank you, thank you.
Yeah, that's great advice. The budget thing is great advice. Um, when it comes to like your experiences, I want to know like, have you ever had, and I'm pretty sure you have, but what's a moment that you can think of where you've been in the middle of like maybe doing some producing a beat, or maybe one of your sets where you're doing one of those beat match offs that y'all do, or even a performance. Like, have you ever had a
Right.
moment where you're performing or you're doing something and things like something happened where it messed up the moment, or you have to figure out a way to like overcome an obstacle in the middle of you performing or in the middle of you making a beat? Like, have you haven't had a moment like that?
Definitely. So shout out to Watusi, co-leader. I think this was, yeah, our first performance. I put an effect on one of the beats and I forgot to turn the effect off. So I'm trying to switch to the next beat. The beat was like skipping because that's the effect I put on. I forgot
Uh-huh.
to turn it off. So it's like dun 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 dun. I kid you not, mid-show, he's still going, he's doing his thing a cappella. I had to keep going. I turned my machine off, turned it back on, and luckily nobody noticed.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yo, that's a great story. I love that. Because
Thank
sometimes
you.
you have to think on the spot, and you
Exactly.
never know what you're gonna do whenever something happens like on the spot. You always say, "Oh, if this happened to me, I would do this, that, and the other," until something actually happens, and then you gotta really think in the moment. You have no time
Exactly.
to prepare. That's crazy. I'm glad it worked out in your favor.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I've had moments like that, like Pride last year. My DJ, he didn't play the beat like right whenever they were like Bizzy Balboa. It was like a pause, and everybody's like,
Uh,
"Okay, well, what's going on?" And then like they had to redo it, like Bizzy Balboa. And then in the middle of me performing, it was like one song where the beat kind of like skipped, and I had to like basically like pretend and get back on beat. It's crazy, and you're doing that like right on spot in front of all these people. And I'm like in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm doing so bad. But when you look back at the videos and stuff, it's like, oh, it looked fine. But in the moment,
yeah,
I'm like, I messed up, going crazy. Oh man, I love that though. I love overcoming those moments.
definitely, definitely.
So I wanted to talk about some of the beats you sent me. You sent me 3 beats, and I listened to them with one of your fans, your biggest fans, my best friend Karma. Shout out to her. She
Yo.
wants to learn so much from you. She loves your beats. She's always talking about, oh, I know that's a Doc Marzy beat. I love it. So, I was like, I'm gonna give you this experience. I'm gonna listen to these beats, giving feedback when we do the interview. So shout out to
Oh,
Karma. She was
dope.
there for us and gave us some feedback too.
Dope, dope. That's what's up. That's what's up. Shout out to her.
Shout out to her. She's a big fan. But edified adulthood. This beat was crazy. I loved it. It was my most favorite out of all 3 that you sent me.
Dope,
It gave
dope.
me like a futuristic, old school, something you could levitate to, like a real chill vibe, a moment. And I was like, I really love this beat. I can marinate in this beat all day. What was the inspiration behind that?
So I've been reading the Bible a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
I keep seeing the word edify, to edify someone, which means like, when it comes to edified adulthood, it's about adding a certain amount of intelligence
Mm-hmm.
to your adulthood. So
Mm,
that's where the inspiration for that came.
I love
Uh,
it.
as far as sonically, anything I do sonically, I want it to be the most positively impactful thing. I prayed to God, like, anoint my hands to make the most positively impactful beats of all time.
Mm.
So that's like my goal. I have a need to positively impact people with the beats. So with that one, I just brought that energy, that, like you said, the futuristic jazzy energy to it.
Yes, I loved it. Thank you. That's deep. I love how that came about. I love to hear that because it makes sense now whenever I think about the beat and listen back to it in my head. I'm like, oh, the story behind it. It makes sense.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
yeah, and then you also said elderberry ginger, and this one gave me like a Tribe Called Quest vibe. Definitely, I can hear like a motivational rapper, a conscious rapper on there. Yasin Bey, somebody like that. Like,
Yeah.
you can somebody where you can really like listen to their words and digest the lyrics. Like the beat was just it was just perfect enough where the right person on there, the words would stick out like, I mean, like a thumbprint. You know what I mean? And
Right, right.
you need somebody on that beat that's really got something to say. It's like that beat really it really gave it set the scene. You know what I mean? It set up the scene perfectly for somebody to really tell like a life story or I don't know. It's so good. I loved it. I loved
Thank
it.
you. Thank you so much. I greatly
That was
appreciate
my I
that.
think maybe I'm tied up because I want to say this one was my most favorite, but I also like the first one, so I'm kind of tied up on those.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you truly. With with elderberry ginger, the inspiration behind that was simple. I was at the store, saw an elderberry ginger shot, bought it. I was like, I should name a beat this. So
Yeah.
that's where it came.
Like literally, it's just simple.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Thank you.
Man, I guess that ginger shot put you in the vibe because the vibe was right whenever you made that beat.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then we got Springtime Reprise, Redo. And that one's like a theatrical type. It gave me like it was like crazy incredible when it came on. I had no idea where we were going to go from there. I was like, man, it felt like I was in the middle of a movie set. Definitely I feel like it's like in a sense like meditation zen type of vibes because
Hmm.
not necessarily something that you would consider like zen music or meditation music, but it gets you to thinking. It makes you feel like, okay, I need to do something with my life. It makes me want to get productive. It makes me want to start folding
Right.
laundry or, getting something going with my life. Like I ain't doing enough. Let me get up and apply for a job or something. But yeah,
Right, right.
it's like a real theatrical I want to know exactly what was going on in your head when you made that. Exactly.
So when I made that one, that's such a good question. I feel like when I specifically made that one, I was thinking about that's when I really got into making scenes,
Mm-hmm.
as my friend would call it. Making scenes with the music, like kind of building up, telling a story. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I
So it's
feel like
crazy
with
that I said theatrical then.
yeah, like I would say with all my beats, I tell a story, but with that one, it was just ambition, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was kind of the mode I was in when I made that one.
Yeah, you definitely go on a journey listening to it. Like literally, I was glued to it because I was waiting for the next moment. You know what I mean? It felt
Right,
like, okay,
right.
something else is about to happen, but I don't know where, but I can feel it. You know what I mean? And then right whenever I felt that way, then came the snare and the drums. You know what I mean? Like, and I was like, okay, here we go with the kicks. Yeah, it was crazy, but yeah, I liked
Thank
it.
you, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And then let's talk about new being heavy leaders. Let's talk about that.
Ooh, all right. So we just came up with that name yesterday.
Wow.
And right before we performed, we came up with that name.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to Watusi Cult Leader. That's the homie that I've been performing with. New Being Heavy Leaders is a culmination of course, Brand Nubian, the rap group, and Brand New Heavies, the what would you call them? Like a jazz R&B group.
Okay.
So Brand Nubian Heavy Leaders is like a culmination of the two of those.
Okay. I like that. And so
Thank you.
what's the mission here? What's the mission statement? Where we going with it? It's gonna be you rapping, you doing music production, you doing both. Like what are we doing?
Solely, I'm just doing production. You might hear me here and there on some rap stuff, but it's
Mm,
more so about cultivating the sound for Watusi. So that's the main goal here. Performing as much as we can. We actually are working on an album,
wow.
12
Okay.
tracks. So that's going to come out real soon. I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, I love that. Definitely keep us informed on that. Any more upcoming shows? Because y'all been doing shows lately, traveling state to state. Let's see. What's happening?
Yeah, we've got a lot. We've got a lot of performances coming up very soon. There's
Okay.
a lot of spontaneity to that,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a beautiful thing. You know, I think we have a show either Monday or Tuesday.
Mm.
But within the week after that, we definitely have a couple shows. We're going to be doing a lot of traveling too, so
What
it's super
area y'all
exciting.
gonna be performing in?
So the DMV for surely, DC, Maryland, and Virginia, and I believe we have something coming up in Philly real soon.
Okay, bet, definitely. So y'all make sure y'all follow Doc Marzy and keep up to date with everything that's going on, because if you local, then you may be able to run up on him and say, "Hey, I heard you on the Get to Know Me podcast. I want to, support you." So I pulled up.
Right, right. Dope, dope,
You
dope.
never know. But I did want to ask you, like, in the current music industry, who are some of your favorite producers? You don't have to do a top five. You can do whatever. But who are some of your favorite music producers right now?
I would say Obliv.
Okay.
Obliv is one of my favorite. Jay Dilla, of course.
Mm-hmm.
The Alchemist,
Mm.
Ninth Wonder,
Mm-hmm.
and I normally have this answer down pat, but I can't think of who that last person is. Oh, Madlib, Madlib.
Okay. Okay. You like, yo, yeah. Period. How could I forget?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And then I also wanted to ask you personally, like, it's been a pleasure working with you. I know that I've been one of the first artists that you've done music production with, and then you also have produced an entire project for another artist, which
Right, right.
name is Thiago Frazier, and you did the
Yeah.
whole project for him, the Coexistence EP, and mine is the I Hope You Heal EP. How has that felt with you finally, having some production that's out there with other artists on your production?
It's been a beautiful thing. It's been a beautiful experience. It's something that I've always longed for. And to be in this current moment in time and being able to produce for you and Thiago Frazier, it's been a beautiful blessing. That's the best way I can describe it. It's
Man,
a great thing.
hey, I'm honored to have, in any type of production and any credits with you. The music
Right,
you
right.
make is so beautiful, and it's like some of my most favorite music that I've been making in my life and in my career. So, big shout out to you for, opening that lane for me to be able to express myself in that way. One of my most favorite, it's hard to choose, but one of my most
Right.
favorite that we've done is New Moon. And I
Yeah.
truly love that one. I have a lot. I really love Expensive Taste as well. I mean,
Right.
some unreleased ones as well that they don't know about that
Ooh.
I really, really like. But I want to ask before I let you go, what would be your favorite Bizzy Balboa Doc Marzy track? What's your favorite one so far that they
Ooh.
know about? I know we got some that's unreleased, but that they know about. What's your favorite one?
I'm gonna spit some bars. Real niggas mess with me and I don't give a who don't scan the menu on the table. Order
Order,
what
what's
the
up? You want
I need
D&D,
yo, you oh
Bizzy
my goodness.
Balboa, and Doc Marzy. Mm.
Only bosses at my table. You can't even get a
Need a
chair. Come
chair.
on, yo. You was sliding on that, yo.
You crazy. We did that.
Yo.
We did that.
Yeah. That's my favorite. That's my personal favorite.
Yeah, I love that one. I love that one. I used to listen to that so much before I actually recorded it at the studio that by the time I recorded it, I felt burnt out. But now it's like becoming a favorite again.
Right,
And
right,
even like with a lot of feedback was like D&D was crazy. Like, the
right.
word your wordplay. So yeah, it's definitely gonna be one for the books. And even people are very surprised that we had the Floetry joint on there. I was like,
Ah,
yeah,
yeah.
like yeah, that
That's
one
an
came out.
old beat.
That's an old one. That's one of your older
Yeah,
ones. But I
for
pulled that
sure.
one out of the closet. I was like, yeah, let me put that on there. I wanted to surprise you with that one. And it's a couple other ones that you sent me that you may not know that I've written to that I'm gonna end up,
Ooh.
dropping those too. But we got another one that I'm gonna drop, and nobody knows this, but we have a track that I'm gonna drop in the next couple of weeks because why
Ooh.
not? We want to keep it going. I know I just dropped the EP, but I'm dropping another Bizzy Balboa Doc Marzy track. And that's going to be in the next couple of days.
Ooh.
Well, I wouldn't say days, but weeks. Yeah, I would say weeks. We're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate June, and I'm going to drop that. So, and then July, I'm going to drop something with me and Clutch. And yeah, that one going to go crazy. So yeah, we got some big things planned.
Dope. Shout out the Clutch too. Shout out the Clutch.
Man, if y'all haven't heard, I Hope You Heal EP. It's got production with Doc Marzy and that's Clutch. And we got a bunch of music that's coming up. But it's been my pleasure, man, to work with you and to just have you as a asset in my life and as a friend, somebody that I could call a friend. And I mean, this interview was just incredible. I wish that I could have more of you. I wanted to ask so many more questions, but I feel like we hit it on the head.
Dope. It's been a blessing. It's been a pleasure. I'm grateful.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for your time. Anything we need to know about you, anything upcoming, tell the people where to find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Doc Marzy. If you got TikTok, follow me on TikTok at Doc Marzy, DOCMARZY. Upcoming, like I said, the project with Watusi Code Leader. We are known together as brand new being heavy leaders. I got some stuff with you, of course.
Yep.
And I got some stuff coming with Thiago Frazier. That's about it, you know.
Man, we're going to be on the lookout. Make sure y'all follow Doc Marzy. I'm going to have all the information in the description of this podcast episode. We appreciate you returning. You're always welcome to come back. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all stay safe and stay dangerous. This has been the Get to Know Me podcast with Bizzy Balboa and Doc Marzy. We out.
Peace. Doc Marzy.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the Get to Know Me podcast. New episodes release weekly on Saturdays and Wednesdays. In the weeks where we skip, please tune into our previous episodes. Other ways to support is word of mouth, following us on all social media and podcast platforms, and supporting a guest on our show. You also can become a subscribed listener by signing up as low as 99 cents a month, where you will have access to exclusive episodes, a chance to win prizes, and more. Again, thank you for tuning into the Get to Know Me podcast, created and hosted by Bizzy Balboa.